Something all men should understand about women. Now that is somewhat of a bold title, wouldn't you say? Something all men should know about women. But what do I mean? Let me set the scene. So this morning I am sitting there, drinking my coffee, my Colombian coffee. I'm back on the Colombian coffee, so if my videos get somewhat hype, you know why. While sipping my coffee, a thought comes to my mind, and in being honest with myself, I address the question. The question being, think of all the women you have been with in your life. Now take sex out of the equation. Ask yourself again, would you have spent all that time around those women if sex were not part of the equation? Now clearly I do not speak to myself in third person, but I said, hold on fish, let me think for a second. The reality is I had no need to think, because a giant no had appeared in my mind, and it was flashing red, no. I said to myself, no fish, no, let me be more reasonable here. I can't have spent all that time around women, knowing that if sex were not in the equation, I would not have spent that time, so I said no. Now clearly while trying to ignore the fact of no, I pondered on these women myself. I thought about their personalities, certain traits they had, certain things about them that I actually enjoyed. And while this no was flashing, I could feel the heat radiating off the no. I'm still thinking, but what about her? I really enjoyed her company. But it always comes back to that one question. If sex were not in the equation, would you be around her? So I turned around and addressed the no, and was honest with myself. You see, as men, we're told that we objectify women. But at the same time, women wouldn't have much from us without our objectification of them, our desire for them, the sight of them, the touch and smell of them, the company of them. So let me ask you this question. As a man, a rational man, think of every woman you have been with, or every woman you have been interested in. Now completely remove sex from the equation. As in, you have no sexual desire for her at all. Sex doesn't exist here. Doesn't matter how beautiful she is, how stunning and sexy she is. Take sex completely out of the equation. And in a sense, do you see how so many of these things fall apart? Can you see yourself how so many of these interactions crumble? Because of how much we as men have put the thought into the sex, the desire. It's natural, it's a survival instinct. That's why we're all here. That's why many of us have offspring. The desire, the natural desire we have as men for women. It's when you question that desire now and you ask yourself, would you even be in the company of those women? Ask yourself, were their personalities really that good? Were some of the women you actually dated boring bricks? But because she was so fine, you were, my God, you were lost, weren't you? Think about that for a second. Does her personality hold up by itself? Is who she is that valid enough for you to be in her company? Was that enough for you to chase her in the first place? You see, it all falls apart because as very visual creatures as men, one of the first things we see is how a woman looks. Here's an example. You know all these Twitch streamers and these female YouTubers that use their body as part of their content? Ask yourself this question, would they still have as much fans if they did just voiceover videos, similar to what I do? Would they have as many subscribers and followers if it was just their voice and not their image with their low-cut tops? Clothing so tight it seems as if it's painted on. Would they have as many eyes on them? Would they? How rich are their personalities where they could create content off their personality and their wisdom alone? How many think of that? And then I say to you as men, do you understand how weak we are to this? And when I say this to some men, they think it's ridiculous. And it's a sense of, why can you not see this? We understand it. We can explain it using science. But you understand in yourself how you as an individual man, how you could be so weak to this, how you have been so weak to this. Whereas if sex were not in the equation, you may not want to even be around her anyway. Do you then understand how much we are swayed by our smaller brains? And why I say to think above these things. Think above the desire. Of course it is so strong. The man you hear speaking has had desire hotter than that of the sun. Dribbling, fiending, wolf-like desire. Blinding. Overindulging in the smell, taste and touch of women. My God. My God. Constantly, I talk of the power we have as men, the sheer, brilliant power we have as men. How if you understand it, you can feel it. You feel it radiating through your body. The masculinity, the manliness, the testosterone. You, in having the bigger understanding of yourself, you can understand your desire, how to control it, and to then have the power to not let women be able to use their sexuality against you or on you. Where you can think beyond it. Yes, she's stunning, she's fine. But beyond that, what else is there? What else is there? What's left? What can I now make from her without my want for her? There is fine detail in everything. Many of us only notice the finer details of a woman, those curves, those grooves, the ones we want to get into and get a hold of. But notice the finer detail, the person attached to those grooves. Understand that, thus you do not get yourself into a groovy mess, a groovy trap, those grooves of desperation of which you are thirsty for. Remember yourselves, men. Remember who you are, your path. What matters most. Indulge if you will, have your fun if you will. Do not lose yourself. Something every man should know is his own value. To the men that know, to you awesome men on the path of knowing, to focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.